Have you ever looked at your life and quietly wondered, is anything ever going to change? You pray, you try, you keep showing up. But deep down, it feels like you're standing still while everyone else keeps moving forward. With man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. Matthew 19:26. Sometimes the hardest seasons are not the loud ones, not the moments where everything completely falls apart, but the quiet seasons where nothing seems to happen. The seasons where your effort feels small, your progress feels invisible, your prayers feel repetitive, your dreams feel far away. You wake up hoping something will finally shift. Maybe this will be the week things improve. Maybe this will be the month you finally feel stronger. But life keeps looking the same. And slowly, discouragement settles into your heart. You begin wondering, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe God forgot about me. Maybe my life will always stay this small. That feeling can drain hope from a person. Because when we think about God moving, we usually expect something big. A dramatic miracle, a sudden breakthrough, a visible change overnight. But many times, God begins with things that seem too small to matter. A quiet prayer before bed, a small step of obedience, one more day of not giving up. And because those moments feel small, we underestimate what God is doing through them. There's a story that beautifully explains this. During a long road trip, someone was resting in the passenger seat when suddenly their spouse excitedly said, "Wake up! Look, it's the Mississippi River." They immediately expected something massive. But when they looked outside, all they saw was a tiny stream running beside the road. It almost seemed disappointing. How could that little trickle become one of the largest rivers in the world? Then they noticed the sign, source of the Mississippi River. That tiny stream was only the beginning. And honestly, that's how many of us see our lives right now. We only see the unfinished version, the slow progress, the hidden season, the small beginning. And because it doesn't look impressive yet, we assume nothing important is happening. But God sees the full river long before we do. He sees what your small obedience becomes. He sees the strength forming inside you while nobody notices. He sees the purpose growing through this season. The truth is, God has always worked through small beginnings. David was a shepherd before becoming king. The disciples were ordinary fishermen before God used them powerfully. God is not intimidated by small starts. In fact, He often chooses them. Maybe right now your faith feels small. Maybe your healing feels slow. Maybe you're emotionally exhausted. Maybe you feel stuck in a season that refuses to change. And maybe part of you wonders if your small efforts even matter anymore. But they do. That quiet prayer matters. That choice to keep going matters. That moment you decided not to give up today matters. Nothing offered to God is wasted. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your unseen faithfulness. God knows how to grow things slowly, and slow growth does not mean absent growth. Sometimes roots are growing underneath before fruit appears above the surface. Sometimes God is strengthening your heart before changing your circumstances. We live in a world that wants instant results, but God often works deeply before He works visibly. And that can be difficult when you feel stuck, because being stuck makes you feel forgotten. But what if this season is not punishment? What if this season is preparation? What if the quiet places in your life are not empty, but growing? The Mississippi River didn't begin looking powerful. It started small, quiet, easy to overlook. Yet that tiny beginning carried incredible potential inside it. And so do you. You may not see the full picture yet. You may not understand why things are taking longer than expected. But God is not measuring your life by how impressive it looks today. He's looking at what it's becoming. God is working, even in the quiet. Maybe tonight you feel tired from carrying struggles nobody fully understands. Maybe you feel left behind. But your story is not over, because the season feels small. A small beginning with God can become something far greater than you imagine. Nothing is impossible with God. Not your future, not your healing, not your purpose, not even this difficult season you're trying to survive. So if life feels small right now, if progress feels slow, if your heart feels tired from waiting, do not despise where you are today. God can grow beautiful things from places that seem ordinary. And one day, you may look back at this season and realize this was not the end. This was the beginning. Take a moment and just breathe for a second. You don't need to rush past this moment. You don't need to pretend you're okay right now. Maybe your heart has been carrying more than anyone realizes. Maybe you've been trying so hard to stay strong for everyone around you that you barely stop to notice how tired you actually are. And maybe somewhere deep inside, there's a quiet ache that keeps asking, why does it feel like nothing is changing? You keep trying, you keep praying, you keep hoping, but some days, life still feels painfully small. You look around and it seems like other people are moving forward while you remain stuck in the same place emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And that can make a person feel invisible, especially when you've been waiting a long time. Waiting for healing, waiting for peace, waiting for direction, waiting for strength. Sometimes discouragement doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes it quietly settles into your thoughts. You start doubting yourself in ways you never used to. You wonder if your efforts matter. You wonder if your prayers are reaching heaven. You wonder if God still sees the part of you that feels exhausted. And maybe you haven't even said those thoughts out loud. Maybe you've just carried them silently. But God sees the silent things too. He sees the nights you overthink everything. He sees the disappointment you try to hide behind a smile. He sees the quiet tears, the private fears. Nothing about your struggle is hidden from Him. You are not unseen. Even here, in this slow season, in this unfinished chapter, God still sees you completely. Sometimes we think God only works through big moments, big breakthroughs, big miracles, big visible changes. But often, He works quietly first, deeply first. And that can feel confusing when your life doesn't look the way you hoped it would by now. Maybe you expected to be further ahead. Maybe you thought the pain would be gone already. Maybe you thought you'd feel stronger by now. But instead, you feel tired, uncertain, discouraged, and part of you wonders if you're falling behind. But you are not falling behind God's care. You are not forgotten. Your life is not disqualified because it feels small right now. That tiny stream at the beginning of the Mississippi River probably didn't look impressive to anyone passing by. Most people could have overlooked it completely. But hidden inside that small beginning was something far greater than it appeared to be. And maybe that's true about this season of your life too. Maybe there are things growing inside you that you cannot fully see yet. Strength, wisdom, endurance, a deeper faith. Sometimes growth is invisible before it becomes visible. Sometimes roots are forming underneath the surface long before anything beautiful appears above it. And that waiting can feel uncomfortable. Because you want reassurance, you want movement, you want proof that your life is becoming something meaningful. But maybe God is asking you to trust that He is still working, even in the quiet, even here, even now, even in the ordinary routines, even in the slow healing, even in the prayers that feel small. Your quiet faith still matters. The fact that you're still here, still listening, still reaching for God despite your discouragement, that matters. Maybe you don't feel spiritually strong right now. Maybe your faith feels weak and fragile, but weak faith held in God's hands is still powerful. You do not have to carry yourself perfectly through this season. You do not have to force yourself to have all the answers tonight. God already knows. And somehow, even in the middle of your uncertainty, He continues working gently inside your life, not wasting your tears, not wasting your waiting, not wasting this season. God has not overlooked you. Maybe your beginning feels too small. Maybe your progress feels too slow. Maybe your future feels unclear. But nothing is impossible with God. Not even rebuilding hope after disappointment. Not even healing a tired heart. Not even creating purpose from seasons that feel ordinary. And maybe right now, you don't need to figure out the entire future. Maybe you only need to bring God this moment. This tired heart, this discouraged mind, this quiet longing for things to finally change. You can come to Him exactly as you are. Not polished, not perfect, just honest. And maybe before the prayer even begins, before you find the right words, maybe your heart simply needs to rest in this truth. God still sees you. God is still with you. And God is still working, even here. Let us pray. Lord, I'm here. And honestly, I don't even know where to begin tonight. There's so much in my heart that I've been carrying quietly for so long. Some days I try to stay hopeful. Some days I tell myself things will get better. But other days, I feel tired in ways I can't fully explain. I keep trying, I keep praying, I keep waiting. And sometimes I wonder if anything is really changing. God, you already know the places in my life that feel small right now. The areas where I feel stuck. The prayers that still feel unanswered. The burdens I don't talk about very much. You see the discouragement I try to hide. You see the moments where I smile around people while secretly feeling overwhelmed inside. And Lord, some days it's harder than I admit. Sometimes I compare my life to everyone else. Sometimes I feel left behind. Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing enough. And sometimes I quietly question if my small efforts even matter anymore. But tonight, I bring those thoughts to you honestly. I don't want to carry all of this alone anymore. I give this heaviness to you. I give you the frustration, the waiting, the fear that nothing will ever change, because deep down, Lord, I know you are still here even when life feels uncertain. You are still working, even when I cannot see it clearly. Father, help me remember that small beginnings do not scare you. You are the God who grows tiny seeds into something beautiful. You are the God who works quietly before anyone notices. You are the God who sees potential where everyone else sees weakness. And maybe right now, my life feels unfinished. Maybe my faith feels small. Maybe my strength feels low. Maybe I'm more exhausted than I let people know. But nothing is impossible with you. Not this situation, not this season, not this heart that feels tired from waiting. Lord, please help me trust you in the slow moments. Help me trust you when progress feels invisible. Help me believe that you are still doing something meaningful in my life, even when everything feels ordinary. Give me strength for the days when I feel discouraged. Give me peace when my thoughts become heavy. Give me patience when I want immediate answers, and give me courage to keep taking small steps forward. Even small steps matter with you. Even quiet faith matters with you. Even the prayers I whisper through tears matter to you. Thank you for not overlooking me. Thank you for staying close, even in the seasons where I feel emotionally drained. Thank you for seeing the parts of me that nobody else fully sees. Lord, sometimes I think I need huge changes to feel hopeful again. But maybe what I truly need is to remember that you are already present in this moment. Already listening, already caring, already working in ways I cannot fully understand yet. So tonight, I choose to place my future in your hands. The future I worry about, the future I try to control, the future I'm afraid of sometimes. I surrender it to you little by little, because I know you can do far more than I can imagine. You can bring healing where I feel broken. You can bring purpose from seasons that feel empty. You can grow something beautiful from beginnings that seem small. And Lord, if I'm being honest, sometimes I'm afraid of hoping too much, afraid of disappointment, afraid of waiting longer, afraid of feeling stuck forever. But even there, you remain faithful. Even there, your presence does not leave me. And tonight, I simply want to rest in that truth. I'm here, Lord. I trust you. Even if everything is not fixed overnight, even if I still have questions, even if I still feel uncertain sometimes, I know I'm not alone. Help my heart slow down tonight. Help my mind rest. Help me stop carrying tomorrow before it even arrives. Teach me to breathe again, to trust again, to hope again. And when I feel forgotten, remind me gently that you still see me. When I feel weak, remind me that your strength has not run out. When I feel stuck, remind me that you are still leading me forward, even slowly. Lord, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for listening to the words I can say, and even the ones I can't. I don't have to rush tonight. I don't have to pretend. I can simply rest here with you. And even in this quiet moment, you are still near. Amen.